So, good day everyone. This is the continuation of Aryan's report, which tackles four options under utility analysis. Now, I am going to explain the figure 2, figure 3, and figure 4. On the figure 2, use the FERT or Federally Express road test to select with the lowest false negative rate. Now, for ease of each reference, each of the quadrants in figure 2 have been labeled A, B, C, and D. The selection ratio in the following graphs may be defined as being equal to the ratio of the number of people who are hired on a permanent basis. So these are those qualified applicants based on the FERT score. So the total number of applicants for permanent position was 60. As you can see the dots there in the graph in all the quadrants, that is 60 kung bibilangin mo. Now, in quadrant A and B, just to the right of the vertical cut score, the vertical cut score is here. So it was set in 18. Now, the result is that 57 Federally Express drivers ang naofera ng permanent employment. So those dots um na na from the right are those FE drivers na naofera ng permanent employment. So, the false positive rate is 0 kasi wala namang score na nag-fall under sa quadrant D. As you can see, only in quadrant C, may 3 dyan na dots, meaning tatlong FE drivers ang unqualified for the position. Now, the selection ratio in this scenario is 57 over 60 or 0.95. Therefore, to conclude, the 57 applicants would have been hired on the basis of their FERT scores with a cut score at 18, and only 3 applicants ang hindi mahahire based on their FERT score, and these 3 would also be rated as unqualified by their supervisors at the end of the probationary period. So meaning, kapag baba ang cut score, since ang cut score again is set at 18, then mas mataas ang numbers ng applicants na mahahire. So moving on from figure 3, which is the selection with high cut score and low selection ratio. Again, still the same, the permanent position was 60 as evidenced by all the dots in the quadrants. In quadrant A and B, ang FERT score dito ay naset sa, the cut score line is set sa 80. So, medyo mataas siya. So, merong 6 FE drivers who are offered permanent employment. As you can see sa right part, may 6 dots dyan. So, that those are the drivers na nag-qualified for the position. So, the selection ratio in this scenario is 6 over 60 or 6.10. Therefore, to conclude, only 6 applicants or 10% lang out of 60 na nag-apply have been hired on the basis of their FERT score with a cut score set at 80. So, meaning, marami ang unqualified since medyo mataas ang cut score nila. So, this only means that all drivers selected when this cut score is in place will be qualified. Although only 10% of the drivers will be offered permanent positions, all who are offered permanent position will be rated qualified drivers on the OTJSR or on the job supervisor ratings. However, even though ang false positive rate na drops to 0, the overall miss rate only drops to 0.43. So this is because a substantial number of qualified applicants would be denied permanent position because their FERT score were below 80. So again, kapag mababa ay mataas ang kanilang cut score, then mababa lang ang mahahire ng mga drivers. And moving on from figure 4, which is selection with moderate cut score and moderate selection ratio. So, in this part, murag balance siya, parang ganun. So in this case, in quadrant A and B, just to the right of the vertical cut score, as you can see, the vertical cut score was set in 48. Now, as you can see, the FE drivers who are offered permanent employment at the end of probationary period are itong mga nasa right part. Now, the selection ratio in this scenario is equal to 31 over 60 or about 0.517. So this means that slightly more than half of all applicants will be hired based on the use of 48 as the SCAT score. So, ang selection ratio in this part is 0.517, which is a moderate one. So, the cut score set at 48 effectively weeds out many of the applicants who won't receive acceptable performance ratings. Further, it does this while retaining many of the applicants will receive acceptable performance rating. With a first cut score at 48, the base rate increases quite a bit from 0.50 to 0.839. So this means that about 84% of the hired drivers will be rated as qualified when the first cut score is set to 48 for driver selection. And dahil dyan, as the result is balance, ang sabi ni Dr. Carlos na ang pinakainam na sundin niya is yung figure 4 since 'di ba she is choosing kung ano ba ang options na best na gamitin para sa company nila. So, he chose figure 2 kasi nga moderate lang and the figure 4 is actually the most optimal among them all. So, that's it for my report. Thank you so much.